Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Romancing. Education officials appeared before senators Tuesday on St. Thomas. The Senate Finance Committee heard testimony from officials at the Department of Education who were defending their fiscal year 2014 budget that has also been cut. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
Like many departments before them, education officials will have to do more with less. Tuesday, department heads asked senators to approve a budget of almost $150 million. That budget is down by $4.7 million from the previous fiscal year, which is a drop of about 3%. The budget recommendation includes $91.2 million for personnel services, $35.7 million for fringe benefits, $2.9 million for material and supplies, roughly $14 million for mandatory costs, and $14.1 million for utilities. The Department of Education is responsible for more than 15,000 public school students. Acting Commissioner Donna Fred Gregory says staffing the department has been challenging.
I just want to ask this first question. What keep you up at night as it pertains to the school year 2013-2014?
My prevailing concern is our ability to staff up our classrooms. Our ability to get the teachers in front of our students who are qualified so we could effectuate instruction. That is a major concern.
Fred Gregory added that getting schools staffed with an adequate number of nurses is also a big concern. She told senators that staffing levels have dropped due to resignations and retirements. She also said trying to recruit new teachers during the territory's fiscal crisis is tough, especially when there aren't enough applicants to choose from. Officials also updated senators on the territory schools' academic achievements. They listed performance rates and updated lawmakers on the status of many school accreditations. They also detailed goals for the department and provided a listing of schools high on the priority list for maintenance and repair this summer. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, senators also heard budget testimony from the Territorial Public Defender's Office. Well, we have been covering the controversy surrounding the 2012 general elections. There was quite a bit of chaos at the Virgin Islands election system. Diane McGrath, one of the unsuccessful candidates of the 2012 elections, claims she found evidence of broken seals on the ballot boxes and demanded a list of each person who requested to see the ballots since the elections. When election system employees said they could not comply, McGrath called the police. Board of Elections member Arturo Watlington halted the review of election documents until the Board of Elections has to decide on how to deal with the current developments. Well, last week, Virgin Islands government employees finally got back the 8% that was cut from their salaries back in 2011, but in a fiscal year beset by deficits. The Senate, along with other government agencies, had to do a lot of juggling of funds to make sure the restoration of the cut was not endangered. News 2's April Knight has more.
Government employees are probably still celebrating the restoration of the 8% cut, but earlier in the year, this wasn't the case. There was some protest against talk that due to a budget deficit, the cut might be extended. But according to Senate President Sean Michael Malone, the restoration of the cut was already in the bag.
The 8% had been restored. It's in the current fiscal year budget plan. What created the deficit is a number of expenses that came about after the fiscal year 2013 current budget was passed.
The extra expenditures that popped up amounted to a $23 million shortfall. To make sure that the money reserved for the restoration of the 8% remains untouched, the Senate had to think of creative ways to bridge the deficit. The Senate came up with a three-part plan. First is cash flow support.
We're giving the governor a lump sum budget and an authorization of a letter of credit from the retirement system to address that portion of this problem that we're facing.
Second was revenue enhancement.
Transferred a number of funds, monies from different accounts to the general fund, such as the $3.5 million from the interest earned on debt service, $2.8 million from the Diageo advance payments, funding from the Casino Revolving Fund and the Casino Job Training Fund.
Finally, a reduction of expenditures that meant a 3% cut across the board for almost all government agencies and slashing $10 million from the miscellaneous fund.
Took away the things that are not priority and put in place the things that are priority.
According to Malone, making sure the restoration happened was not only worth it, it's necessary.
People waited 2 years. A lot of people that can't pay their electric bills. We see a stagnation in economic activity because many businesses who are facing high electric bills are closing their doors. In addition to that burden, you don't have people spending money.
At the end of the day, Virgin Islanders are just thankful that after 2 long years, they're finally getting back their due. April Knight, News 2.
According to Senator Malone, government employees can expect the restored salaries to take effect by the end of the pay period, ending in July 26. How does healthcare reform apply to the U.S. Virgin Islands? What is happening with Medicaid and the health insurance exchanges? These questions will be answered at the one-year anniversary of the Supreme Court's decision upholding the Affordable Care Act, the healthcare reform law known as Obamacare. Delegate to Congress Donna Christensen, who chairs the Congressional Black Caucus Health Brain Trust, will be visiting some communities to ensure that everyone has the information necessary to take advantage of the changes the new law will bring. The CBC Health Brain Trust will come to Frederiksted on Saturday, July 20th to host a town hall meeting entitled Making Good Health My Reality at the Frederiksted Health Center. Members of Congress, officials from the Department of Health and Human Services, and local officials will interact in a day-long program aimed at answering those questions. Members of Crime Stoppers remind you that if you have any information about the following crimes or any persons involved, you are urged to call Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS or submit a web tip. You never have to give your name or appear in court. Crime Stoppers USVI will pay a cash reward of up to $2,500 and you can remain anonymous. Well, police say on St. Croix on Saturday, June 15th at 2:20 p.m., 21-year-old Jose Bess was fatally shot at a time of day when considerable level of activity was taking place, and he was found on the main road in the Williams Delight housing community. Police call and urge you to share, ask you to call and share any information you may have that can assist in this investigation. Over on St. John, officers say on Sunday, June 23rd at 11:30 a.m., a man parked his black soft-top Jeep Wrangler in the area of Julius Sprouse School. When he returned at about 3:15 p.m., he discovered that someone had broken into the Jeep and stolen his black backpack that contained $350 in cash, a black iPhone 3, and several credit cards and IDs. Please help identify the thief. Over on St. Thomas on Thursday, June 6th at 7 p.m., two men were driving in the area of Four Winds Plaza when several shots were fired at them. Both men sustained several gunshot wounds. Tell Crime Stoppers what you may know about the shooters. Submit your information on these or any other crimes at www.crimestoppersusvi.org or by calling 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. The minimum cash reward for the arrest of a murder suspect is $1,500. It's $900 for the arrest of a shooter. For the arrest of a burglar, it's $714 plus 10% of the retail value of property recovered. Whistleblower Edward Snowden is now looking for help outside of Russia. The former NCA contractor has been on the run since allegedly leaking classified government material last month. Danielle Nottingham has the latest from the White House.
I think that the public is...
NSA leaker Edward Snowden has applied to at least 20 countries seeking protection, and so far, no one has said yes. Secretary of State John Kerry met Tuesday with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov during a summit of Pacific nations in East Asia. Russia says it will not send Snowden back to the States, but Secretary Kerry says little came out of his talks with Lavrov.
Not his portfolio, and so it wasn't discussed in a way that he would be able to take any action on it.
The Obama administration has left Snowden with few options since revoking his passport and charging him with espionage. WikiLeaks released a statement Monday said to be from Snowden, slamming President Obama for, quote, using citizenship as a weapon. Snowden's expanded requests come as world leaders have expressed anger over reports the U.S. bugged the European Union offices in Washington.
If these news are proven true, this would be very disturbing and raise serious and very important concerns.
One of Snowden's best chances for asylum may be from Venezuela. The country's president was in Moscow Tuesday meeting with Putin and said Snowden deserves protection, but would not say if his country would grant Snowden's request. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
And keeping our eye on the economy, General Motors says sales shifted higher in June, returning to levels not seen since before the recession. Japanese automakers also reported strong U.S. sales. Nissan and Toyota were up more than 10%. Unemployment rates are higher in cities across the country, but that could be good news. The Labor Department says rates rose in 2/3 of the largest cities because more people are searching for work. The government doesn't count people as unemployed unless they are actively looking for a job. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. Everything down. The Dow 42, NASDAQ 1. Coming up on News 2, 9 emergency medical technicians moved up the ranks Saturday during a graduation ceremony at the Department of Health. Plus, emancipation was decreed on July 3rd, 1848, after slave rebellions and protests in Frederick St. Croix. Many commemorative events planned to give us a little history lesson.